Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Los here. We back on the throne of positivity where the first is last and the last is first. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. You probably like, yo, why you all the way over there? Like, why you in the distance? And I don't know, man. I just got off of the live of preaching in Spanish. It's Thursday. Currently 4:30. My voice is spent. And wow, I'm exhausted. I was about to go and just pray. And I felt in the spirit like God was like, nah, go shoot the video. You didn't shoot the video for Saturday, so do that now. And I'm exhausted. Anybody who has ever ministered, whether you preach, you sing, evangelize, preach the gospel, whatever you do, you know how taxing it is when you give in everything that you can. And I'm the type of person, like, I give it all when it comes to God. So I'm spent right now. So when God was like, make the video now, I'm like, you sure, God? Because, it's almost our time to pray too. He was like, yeah. And I guess God wants me exhausted for this video. And I guess it's appropriate since we're going to be talking about loneliness, anxiety, depression, and then suicidal thoughts. Is going to be a very significant topic. So I'm not saying this to tell you what I do, but it's also my fasting day. I fast Thursdays and Sundays. I only tell you that not to be like, oh, look at me, I'm fasting and whatever. I'm just saying that so that you could know in a practical sense, like what I got going on and what I do. I usually elect those days as what used to correspond to my church days. So I would fast all the way Thursday until after service. And then Sunday I will fast until after service too. So right now I'm fasting and it's been beautiful. So that's just a little snippet. Another piece of news for you guys to know is that, let me check my calendar actually. Shout out my nephew. I don't know if you guys can see him, but that's my little nephew, man. That's my background. The kid is mad cute. I want to show you because, hold on, but let me get closer, but I'll move it back away, I swear. That's my nephew. And then the reason why I show you that is because I'm finally going to go see my baby boy, man. I'm going to crazy. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but let me get the calendar. I'm flying out to Virginia the 26th. And the 26th, I'm going to Virginia because my boy from Florida, he's getting married. And in July or August, he called me. He's like, yo, you want to be the priest? Can you marry me and my wife? I was like, what? Yo, you sure? You serious? He was like, yeah. So shout out to my boy Calvin. God bless you, bro. I can't wait to be a part of this with you and your wife. It's going to be amazing. Like, I've never done that before, so I've got to be able to do that, yo. Like, I'm so excited. So pray for me, guys. So I'm flying out the 26th, and the wedding's on the 28th. But then the 29th, I'm flying to Florida, and I'll be out there until the 7th. I'll fly back November 7th. So I'll be gone. I'll be able to see my family. And, I guess that's a good way to start the conversation of loneliness. And, I came to California because I believed God for the promise that he gave me. I've never been shy about telling you guys that I came out here because I believe that the Lord, he promised me a wife and family, the thing that I so desired for my entire life. He promised me that. So I came out here. I left everything, dude. You wouldn't imagine. I left it all without thinking twice. So, I left it all and I came out here, and all that I had was my boy Justin. I was here. Y'all know my story. I'm not going to go through the whole sleeping on the couch stuff and all of that, whatever. But I've been out here and I'm such a loner. I've been alone my whole life. I felt I've gotten into that a little bit before, but I feel like I told you guys, as a kid, I was so anxious and worried and so afraid of social interaction. I really had to learn after Christ how to interact with people, because God loves people. So I needed to learn, how do I love people? And the way that I learned was outside of my house, not inside of my house. So the way that I learned was, I read this book that changed my life. It's somewhere. I think it's in a box somewhere. I only got one more box to unpack. But it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And this book absolutely transformed the way that I interact with people socially. It helped me so much, and I recommend that you buy that book if you're struggling with anxiety or how to make friends. Like, it's something that we are not taught how to do, which is crazy. The only other experience that I learned of how to interact with people is like when you grow up without a father as a man, you have to figure out how to become a man. There's many paths of how to do that. How I did it is I would always, like, my friends were people who were like double, triple my age at any given point of my life. So when I was like 12, I was rolling around with 30-year-olds, like 40-year-olds, people in their 40s and 50s. Like, I was really running it with them because I always felt misunderstood and like more mature than my age, I guess. I'll be like 12 years old, 16, 18, and I will be running with them. So what I learned how to do is I would look at men, and if there was a man that I felt would benefit something in my own life, I would see to do what he would do, and I would replicate it. And as a youngin in my teenage years, what I did was I started to take on their personality. That's the only thing I knew how to do. I would take on their personality. I would do what they would do. And then I would do that for a while. And then I'll be like, all right, this doesn't work with my personality. Let me mold what is working into who I am. And as you grow, little by little, you keep taking from people, and eventually you find who you are. And that's how I learned how to be a man, right? But unfortunately, it was such a lonely experience because I just was always alone. I was so deadly afraid. I was an observer. I'm a thinker. I'm not a doer like that. I'm not, I get stuff done. I'm not saying that. Like, of course, we all procrastinate, but I'm a thinker. I'm an observer. For the majority of my life, I was silent, dude. I wouldn't talk. Like, like you probably would have thought something was wrong with me because I would be places and I would not talk. You could talk to me and I would be like that, like, yeah, okay, and I'll be mad afraid. My heart is like, and I'm like, oh my God, please leave me alone. I don't know how to entertain you. I don't know how to answer your questions. I'm so afraid. I don't know what to ask you about. I don't know how to have a conversation. Please leave me alone. I'm so afraid. I can't do this. Like, I don't know why. Like, dude, I was so insecure as a kid. And that built up with me over time. And it's one of the reasons why I identify with Maya Angelou, the author, the poet, who her story was similar. She experienced something tragic in her early childhood and she went mute. And the only thing that she did was observe the world and read books from the library until finally, when she finally spoke, she's one of the greatest voices in all of history. So, I grew up lonely in that way and trying to figure out, how do I navigate through life? And when I came to Christ, finally, that felt like it was broken. But although I know how to interact with people, I feel like I only know how to do that I don't want to say superficial because I'm not superficial. I don't care about being no superficial. I ain't fake, bro. Like, I'm not fake. I guess in a surface way. I don't know how to go deeper than the surface with most people. And it's hard for me. I think I've mastered an art of initial approach and initial conversation. But I got to be honest, maybe I think I suck as a friend, dude. Like, I'm so bad because I'm just living to myself. You guys know that out here in Cali, like, I made all my friends in the church, but outside of that, I really haven't made that many friends, dude. Not in a significant way, I'm still new here, it's 3 years, but like, I don't really got people that I'm like that. Like, I'm just to myself. Like, I be home all day. I'm a homebody. I'm good with myself. If I want to do something, I go to the movies by myself. I go out to eat by myself. Like, I'm chilling. I've just been alone my whole life. But what that really did for me is like, man, it's hard because I'm trying to break out of that in a good way so that I can honor the Lord. I don't think that you have to go deep with everybody. You simply can't. It's just, that's the way society works. That's how social interaction works. You have a few that you have, and then that's it. But it's just led to a lot of loneliness for me, and that's why I always tell you guys, like, I can't wait to be with my wife. Not that she's going to resolve these things. I'm not waiting for her to be my crutch. That's why I prepare with everything that I have while I'm single, so that when I get to her, I'm not bleeding all over her. My wounds have been healed. I've dealt with these things. I've strengthened my weaknesses with the Lord. But we could finally fellowship. We can engage. We could deal with each other. We could help each other in our weaknesses. But we're finally going to have each other to where it's like, okay, we can enjoy our own companionship together. And my wife is going to be my best friend, bro. Like, she's going to be my best friend. Like, I'll tell her everything. There won't be no secrets. Like, yo, put your what is it, the Face ID, the name. I got a password app. Like, I'll give you the password to the password master app. Like, there ain't gonna be no secrets between us, because I want to have the most intimate and transparent relationship possible. But again, I gotta deal with things in my past, which I have for the past couple of years. I'm just telling you guys from this side of things. You know, it will be beautiful to have that person, but constantly we gotta be improving. And the way that I improve is by reflecting on my past. Where am I presently? And then what am I gonna do in the future? Because loneliness is something that's is detrimental. Like, we were created for community. Last video I told you guys, God said it's not good for man to be alone. We were created for community. We weren't created to be by ourselves. And reflecting on my past as a kid, I went through a lot of trauma in my home. A lot of things going on, man. And like I told y'all before, the divorce of my parents, it really, like, I was already not a weird kid, but I was just like to myself all the time. I didn't speak a lot. And after the divorce of my parents, I fell into deep depression, bro. And I didn't get out of that until God saved me. Like, I was in depression from the age of like 10, 11, all the way to like, bro, like 20 years old, like 10 years solid of depression and anxiety. And as a kid, I'll never forget talking about like suicide and stuff. I don't know if this is too deep, but I guess only people who've been in the deep position of wanting to take your own life, like, you gotta be somewhere real bad to want to do that. And the first time, I'll never forget, man, like, I was 11 years old, 12 years old. We just moved to Florida. We got our first apartment. My mom's single, 5 kids. And I'll never forget, bro. I've never told my mom this. She doesn't know. I was so like distraught as a child, and I couldn't understand, like, why doesn't my father want me? Why isn't my father in my life? Like, why did this have to happen to me? And it broke my identity even further. And I didn't have God. Like, what was I gonna do? And I remember, man, I was like 11, 12 years old, and I went into the bathroom, dude, and I brought a knife with me like this big. And I put myself in the tub, took my shirt off, put myself in the tub. I ran the water, and I laid down on the tub. I don't know if this is too detailed, so just forgive me if it's graphic. And I took that knife, man, and I put it to my stomach, laying down. I'm like 11, 12 years old, scared out of my mind. And the water's rushing, and all I could hear outside is the voices of my siblings. I'm the oldest, so I got 4 siblings under me at the time. And I hear them like laughing or doing whatever they're doing outside, probably arguing, because we was always arguing. I hear my mom outside. And I just thought, like, yo, what type of pain would I cause my family if I was to truly drive this knife through my stomach at this point right now? And that's all that I could think about, bro. And I was crying, dude, 12 years old, and I'm asking God, like, I didn't even know what prayer was. And I'm just like, Lord, save my life. And I'm not saying that I had a spiritual experience or anything. I didn't come to know God until much later in my life. But I'm very convinced that the Lord stopped me from taking my life in that moment. And that always stuck with me. Is like, yo, what type of pain, what kind of selfishness would it be if I was to take my life right now? And I'll never forget, like a few years later, going through many more situations that I couldn't handle. I think I was like 16, sophomore in high school. I took like a whole bunch of pills, bro. I took like the Tylenol or whatever, for like 200 pills, or I don't even know, like 60. I took like half the bottle. What? Drank all those pills, bro. The big old bottle of NyQuil. Started drinking that thing. Wow. And I laid down on the couch. My mother wasn't home. She was working. Nobody was home, bro. And we had a long couch. I started losing consciousness, and I'm laying down on the couch. And my cousin, he lived in the same neighborhood, so randomly, bro, I was home alone. And he walks in the apartment, and he sees me like losing consciousness, and he immediately is like, yo, you good? Yo, Donde, you good? He's screaming at me, and I'm like losing consciousness, bro, and I'm barely hearing him. And I feel my life like slipping through my hands, and I'm like, Lord, I don't want to take my life. I just want to be loved. Save me, God. Save me, Lord. And I was losing consciousness, and I blacked out. The next time I woke up, I'm on a stretcher, and they're putting me in the ambulance, and I'm begging the Lord, and I'm like, Father. I didn't know him personally at this time. I was just like, God, I don't want to die. And they put me in Florida. If you attempt against your life, it's called Baker Act. You got to be 72 hours in a mental institution. And I went there, and I saw like people with real deal mental problems. And I'm like, yo, how could I ever think that it could get that deep that I would want to take my life, bro? I know that we all experience anxiety and depression, and suicide may seem tantalizing to certain people. It was to me. The devil confused me in that way, but I just want to tell you, it's not worth it, bro. Like, what is your life really worth? You don't want to take your life. You just want somebody to acknowledge you. You don't want to do that. You just want somebody to love you. Because that's our deepest need and desire, is to be loved and to be in a community, to be accepted by the ones we loved or we love. And dealing with depression, that's the way that I actually found God. I won't give the whole testimony because my testimony's not over. But I was depressed, and that's how I came to the Lord, was through depression. And when I finally went at 2014, August of 2014, I ran to church, and I was like, yo, I'm giving my life completely to God. I tried to take my life twice before. I tried to do drinking, drugs, partying, doing all that stuff, and that did nothing for me. Trying to take my life, it didn't satisfy me. So maybe this is the way. And trust and believe, I experienced the most beautiful relationship in the world, but I was still depressed and still anxious for a long time. And here's the things that I learned being depressed and being hyper anxious and worried about everything in my life, is that number one, you have to find the beauty of your relationship with God and know that you are never alone. God is always with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He's literally there. Like I told you guys about the story that happened to me this week on Sunday. I was watching a service on live, and the church service, and after it finished, I just felt like as soon as it went off, I'm like, golly, Lord, I'm alone again. Dude, I'm alone again. I have nobody. Like, I'm alone, bro. I'm back. Like, it's silent. What do I do? And I started to despair, and the live ended, and I'm literally like this looking up, and I'm like, God, I'm so tired. I don't want to be alone anymore, my Father. I gave you everything that I have, oh Lord. Like, why am I still alone, oh Lord? And I'm just crying out to the Lord. And you know when you gasping and it's like, like my heart is trying to break through the surface of having been underwater and you're at your last breath. My soul is crying out and I'm like, Father, I don't want to be alone anymore, my God. Please save me. Bless me, my Lord, in the way that you promised, my God. And I was crying. And God said, get up. Go to the living room. I went to the other living room over there. And I'm just weeping. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want to be alone. I gave you everything. I sacrificed the promise to you. I placed it on the altar, Lord, and I'm still alone. I gave you everything, oh Father. And I'm just going back and forth. And then Father finally speaks to me and he says, be still and know that I am God. And I just shut up and I dropped to my knees and I put my head over the couch and I'm just like silent. And in that moment, boom, the Red Sea split in my soul and peace that transcended all understanding overwhelmed me. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And I just sat there in his presence in silence, knowing that he's God and he's going to work it all out for my good because I love the Lord. I truly do. And I'll tell you this, as somebody who already tried to take my life in the past, I don't entertain these thoughts, but they do come back. Like, yo, why don't you take your life? Why don't you do this? Like, those suicidal thoughts are persistent. And even as a man of God, that you see me in the way that I am, it plagues me sometimes. I don't entertain it because I always go back to that thought like, yo, what type of selfishness would it be if I did that? If I left my future wife and my children or my family, my mom, my siblings, how broken would they be? Like, nah, I don't entertain that. But the devil does use that against me. And the way that I silence it is I immediately start praying. I get on my knees and beg to the Lord to take that out of my head. And that's what was happening. Like, but then the peace came and it's like, yes, man, this is what life is about. It's about fear and love of God. It's about knowing who he is and just loving him with everything that you have, you know? So I was there in his presence, blissful, and I felt like I was delivered, saved for the millionth time in my life. And then, you know, I go about my day. At that point, it was like 5 o'clock. The service ended like 4, I think. And I start cooking, whatever. I go about my day. And then I get in bed. I'm on the couch over there sleeping and getting ready to sleep in the living room. I go to Torrent Wells' post, right? Let me see if I could find it. I'm just scrolling on Torrent Wells, bro. And just to see, because he's doing like an award. I think like he was announcing something about an award show or something like that. And let me see, where is it at? And I'm like, yo, I was just looking at it, what he was announcing about his award show. And then, bro, I'll show you. I don't want to show you their comment because it's sensitive, but this was his post. I don't know if you can see it, but I was looking at that post and I'm like, yo, that's cool. You know, he got a cool little post. The first comment, you know how it shows you the first comment? It's like somebody saying, I want to commit suicide. And I'm like, yo, those thoughts were just in my head, bro. I don't know what this person is going through. Let me message them. And I message them, and then I still haven't to this day heard back from that person, but it just went to show me that there's people with greater problems than me in this world. And God just finished blessing me. Like, look at what he did. And I'm gonna let those thoughts get to me? By no means, man. So, you know, it's just to show you that people are going through things far worse than you, and this world needs you. You went through what you went through so that you could give instructions to the next individual. And don't find it strange if you're the person that has these thoughts like me. You're not alone. David himself said, yo, like, I'm in Sheol. Like, don't let me go down to Sheol. Job said, I wish I was never born. Elijah said, kill me right now. I want to die. So if those great men of the faith struggle with suicidal thoughts, then how much more us? But I think God is so honest about that in his word so that you can know, I can know, they can know. We're all in this together. We have a great cloud of witnesses. That's not only to the glory of God, witness of his glory, but That's also a great cloud of witnesses, knowing that we have a high priest who suffered in a way that we can understand and that he can understand us. And then we have a great cloud of witnesses that can understand us too, because they went through it. Just know that you're not alone. We are all struggling and we're suffering together. That's a privilege. And if you ever need somebody to reach out to, men, reach out to me. Men. Women, reach out to the women in your life and seek help, because God will help you. He will deliver you. You're not alone. So my practical advice in regard to how to get over these things, it would be recognize the beauty in everything. I will remember being so depressed in my life that literally color, I wouldn't even see it in my life. I was so depressed. Food, one of my favorite experiences in life. My love language is food, bro. Y'all always see me posting food. Food loses its taste when you're depressed and you're just in that hole and you have no way to get out. And it's just like, yo, how do you get out of this? It's a daily fight. Inch by inch, you got to take back ground in the Lord. The victory is won by him, but you got to still do the fight on your knees. And one of the most beautiful things that I have learned, two tactics that you must do in the everyday fight against worry, anxiety, or suicidal thoughts and depression or loneliness. Find beauty in anything, bro. Find beauty in it all. I will remember when I finally hit me like an epiphany. It finally hit me like, yo, this is how you get out of depression. I remember seeing some stupid sign, like it was just some advertisement, one of those billboards, and I just forced myself to laugh at the corny joke that it made. And I was like, yo, this is making me feel better. Even though it's corny and I would never laugh at that, I just gotta find beauty in it. Find beauty in your life. There's beauty everywhere. God makes everything beautiful in its time. So you just have to find it. And I would find ways to laugh. I will make stupid jokes and laugh. I will force myself to smile even if I don't feel smiling, because even chemically, when you smile, you release endorphins and it forces you. Like, don't wait for your mind to get to the place where you want to be. You act the place where you want to be, and your heart and your mind will follow afterwards. So be corny, embrace your flaws, embrace your quirks, be comfortable with yourself, love yourself, because the greatest commandment is love your neighbor as what? As you love yourself. So you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. And you can't love your neighbor if you don't love God. You can't love God if you don't love your neighbor. It's this triangular thing. So you gotta love yourself. And then like the second practical thing that really has helped me is putting Elijah's remedy into place. God told Elijah in the midst of one of his greatest battles, not the battle of 400 prophets, the battle of him against himself in the cave. God said, get up, eat, and rest. Or maybe he told him rest, then eat. I always do it in the order of get up, change your mentality, be convinced in faith, call upon the name of the Lord, go lay down, take a nap with the confidence knowing that when you rise up, God will have resolved whatever's on your heart. Then when you get up, eat your favorite meal, eat your junk food, eat whatever you will. Not to the point that you're going to create this dependency, but eat your comfort food and just relax in the presence of God. That has helped me 100% without fail every single time I've gone through depression or have a bout of anxiety, worry, whatever it is. So I really recommend that you do that, because God is beautiful, man. He's going to deliver you from whatever it is you're going through. You have no need to fear. Trust in the Lord, for God is near. I know this was a long video. Hopefully it helps you guys. I really want to help somebody. I know that you may be going through anxiety. Maybe you're scared of people like I was. Maybe you feel like I felt. I felt like a deer caught in the headlights, or a deer that any little move of the bush, it would be like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm losing my head. Like, chill. Don't lose your head. God is going to build you up. And if you're willing to get a little bit uncomfortable with the Lord, He's going to help you grow in maturity. And it's going to be so beautiful when you finally see like, wow, this is who I truly am. God is going to bless you with the identity of who you are, created uniquely to represent him in the way that he determined you to represent him. So that anxiety, that worry, that social awkwardness, or whatever is gripping you, in the name of Jesus, those chains are broken. Go in the presence of God. Go take a nap. When you get up, eat that little, that ramen, or them dulces enchilados, that mango nada. You want something fire, bro? Go eat that. Go eat it, drink it, whatever. Mango nada. Yo, go eat some tacos. Go eat some mangú. Some arroz con gandules y pollo del horno con ese mojito. Like, whatever you need to do, bro, go eat your food and enjoy it and do you. Give glory to God. You ain't depressed, bro. You ain't sad. You ain't nothing. You ain't anxious. You ain't that. I declare Jesus' name. You are free. You are liberated. So anyways, have fun. Be yourself, man. Love yourself. Love God. Love your neighbor. Love your enemies. Y'all know what it is. It's Lowe's here. We on the throne of positivity when nobody shall dethrone us. Click the links in the description below if you want to support. So holla at your guala. We out.